Guys, it's Enwa and welcome to the 5th episode of the Batman Forever project. And last episode we cracked on down with our second floor exterior, and we also decorated the chandelier for our Great Hall. So today we are going to finally get the floor plan down for our bedrooms and talk about our roof and grab the resources needed for that today. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right in with me building up the floor plan. It was a bit of a trial and error, but it makes sense, and there'll be more later on. And then after that, I'm going to build up the walls with our dark oak and our soul soil, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So now as we go up here, we have got all of our walls built up, and as you can see, we're kind of missing one more layer of soul soil just due to this level being a little bit more squished than the others. So let me go on all the way up, and as you can see, we've got all of this covered up, and this section here is just extended by one block due to this window here. But there we go. And for reference for the colours, so white blocks means it's an underside room, red means it is a bedroom, and a blue block means a bathroom / ensuite. So every single bedroom that we've got going on has a little ensuite on the side. So it's becoming a little bit of a maze, but somehow my horse continues to come up here. I don't know why. I don't know who designed this horse to be the way it is, but it does come up here sometimes. So I'm going to start making a little stable for him one day. But as you can see, all covered up. So I have got some staircases that I'll point out. So we have one here. So this will be a staircase going up. And I've got another one all the way over here. This will be a straight one going all the way up. And then we have one more all the way in this section here, going up, then across. Now this is because with our attic and our roof being built up, I kind of want to section it for more bedrooms and also an attic storage area. So with this section over here, this part across this section will be bedrooms, and then this entirety going all the way across will then just be an attic of bits and bobs, whatever. But I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Now, what we can do that is very similar to everything that we've done is build up this wall an extra time on top. However, we're going to expand just by one block by adding a sandstone wall here. So I've left all of this for now, and I'll do a little time lapse to make it sound a little bit easier because it does sound a bit complex. But that little section over there is going up by one more block, exactly the same dimensions. Then everything above this section will now become our roof. Now, the reason why I've made our walls all the way to the top is that this entire section will be stone bricks. So it will cover this entire section, so we don't need to worry about the 2-floor slabs thing until much later. But I'll go through that in just a moment with you. Okay, so Minecraft has been giving me a few funny 5 minutes, but I've got a bunch of stone bricks and stone brick stairs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this layer in front of the gates with normal stone brick. And then in the middle, I'm going to have a stone brick wall. Now, I'm thinking this could either be a stone brick wall or a stair block just to cover up the bottom, which I'm probably going to do that actually. So this will all go across every time there's a fence block to avoid, you know, the connection between the fences and the blocks itself. That's going to go all the way around this entire section. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this part first. So this side is going to be completely identical to the other side. And we're going to just kind of focus on bridging across our roof going all the way through. And then this section in the middle is slightly higher, but we will then connect it across. Now, as you may have seen, I've popped up this second wall up top as well. So exactly the same dimensions and height. However, in the very top, I have just dotted across some walls and some gates for the time being. I will focus more on that detail later on, but it was just so I make sure the dimensions were correct, because the last thing I want to do is build something and it's not right. So let me just quickly put this little layer across this entire building and we'll crack on back on over there. Okay, so I've gone and popped that all around and now we are at the front here. So I'm just going to pop on some stairs all the way across on either side. And this is just the only slight difference compared to the rest of the building. So I'm just going to join that all together. And then from the middle, I'm just going to add some more stairs going across like this. And this will then connect across onto our level of blocks. And I'm just going to top this little part off with some slabs. And that is sorted there. So that's the only difference that this entire roof is going to have. So that will then be copied on the other side. Now, going on forwards, this entire level will then be covered with stairs. And from there, we are going to make our way up to the point where they all meet. So I'm going to go all the way across, all the way down. I'm going to stop at just this little section here. This is when it will then connect up to the other side. And it should be up to 8 blocks going across. And we'll just meet this little section at the top here. Hence the reason why this little part of the wall had to stay the same dimensions. Because in the actual building itself, it does have this part peek on over the roof section. So that will then be done all the way across. I will then copy that onto the other side with all my blocks. And then you can probably assume that this will once again be exactly the same. However, I think it will go up another block with a slab in the middle. Gorgeous. But with that being said, let's crack on with all of our stairs. So loads of stairs are going to be needed all the way across. And I'll be back once I probably have done this section here and this section over there. So our roof is complete and I just spent 10 minutes recording a part of the video which covers the creation of these chimneys. So I'm just going to quickly go back on over it. So what I've done is I've just counted over 3 blocks to one side, added some normal bricks, topped it off with some stairs, then some walls, some more stairs and walls, and popped some plant pots on the top, because the main part of like the silhouette of this building mainly comes from the chimneys as well. So there are quite a couple of chimneys. However, I've just tried to focus on the main ones, really. So that is the 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and then 3 that go across in the middle. And while I'm on up here as well, I'm just going to add a little bit of extra detail to this little section at the top. So I'm adding candles in each corner on top of some fences, adding some pressure plates, and that will look a little bit more nicer. And again, adding more to that silhouette. So like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some more stairs for our bricks, which I think I'm running low on. So let's just grab an absolute ton and do that. So I think that should be more than enough. And let's head on back at the top. And I just needed to add a little bit more extra on the side on this one. I'll just go through the design again. So I'm going to grab some bricks, and I've sectioned this part according to the windows. So I've started from the middle, and then I've left a full block there, and then on the next one, lining up for this next window, there is yet another chimney. So I'm going to chisel this out just by one more, adding my bricks across. So make sure I do that on exactly the same side. Then I'm going to top it off with some stairs, which is then going to be connected in the corners. And I'm just going to join that together with some normal bricks, like so. So dot that all across. Then what I will be doing now is just getting a ton of brick walls and going up by 3. So I'm glad that I made more than enough. Topping it off with some normal bricks, and then all the way around I'm going to add some upside down stairs all the way across, adding a little bit of extra shape, and then topping the rest of this off with more bricks and some more plant pots, which again I'm going to need quite a lot. I didn't even realise, but that will then do the same, and also copied onto the other side. Then on top of all of that, we have just got the last few pieces of detail, which is our windows. And by the looks of pictures, it looks, I don't know if it is made of copper, but it is some sort of green oxidized metal of some sort, so probably copper. So what I've gone and done is I've gone mining and got some copper. I've made intercut copper, so I've got more blocks now. And after I've done this little chimney design, I'm going to grab some birch trapdoors. So I'll just get it ready anyways. And some glass. And then some dark oak. Ready for when we build our windows. So this will be 3 at the front. So we're going to have 1 in the middle. 1 on one side over here. 1 on the other. Then on the other side, we'll have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty much lining up with each window bay. As you can see, standing down here now, you can see there's so much more shape coming into this, and I really like how you can see the roof. Because I was trying so many different designs, and I wanted to make sure that we could see it while you're standing down, just to make it look absolutely massive. So it looks really, really cool. So let me grab my last few bits to make these chimneys, and then we're going to go on and create these windows. Okay, so all the chimneys have now been popped down. Let's go on up to the top and talk about windows. So I'm going to line up the middle here and open this section up by 4. And this is when I'm going to get my copper, and I'm just going to leave it to oxidize over time. And I'm just going to create some stairs as well. So I'm going to pop it up like this. And then I'm going to join it together all the way across like that. So it looks really weird at the moment, but once that shade starts to come through, that's when it'll look a lot better. And I'm just going to open that. And I'm going to have some stone brick slabs there. And then I'm just going to grab a few copper stairs like so. So then it looks like it's merging into this wall here. And then, as you can probably assume, I'm just going to get my trapdoors, pop them through, and then this is when I'm going to have my wall coming inside. So as you probably tell, this section up here, the walls are going to go inwards by a few blocks. So I'm going to skip basically one block as we go around, but that is not until later. So that's when I can fill in glass, and then I can top off with some stairs just to give it a little bit of shape and a character. So then that will also be done on each respective side. And then at the back, let's just open up this section. We'll then do it from here, here, and then at the very end here. So exactly the same design, but then again copied once more. Okie dokie, so windows are done, and what I've gone and done as well is pop down a floor plan for some bedrooms up here as well. So this entire building is going to total in 12 bedrooms, including the master bedroom. And I am thinking of adding maybe 2 more, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So let me just walk through this section with you. So we have our 2 staircases going on either side. And then down this little corridor, we have 1 bedroom in here with a window and a bathroom which is closed off. Then we have 1 more bedroom and bathroom. And then because I don't have a hallway connecting the 2 together, you will then have to come up this side through this little section. We have a bedroom again and bedroom once more. So that is where I'm currently at. I'm still just trying to think of what extra rooms we can put up here. I think it is definitely going to be very much storage. And again, this could be another base of operations with Minecraft. So I might as well do like a proper storage room as well. So that leaves me with this area over here, because I have got another staircase that goes up. And I think this is going to be the section where it's going to be purely a very messy storage area. Then on the other side, going all the way across, we have this open bit over here. So I have not joined up the ceiling because I want it to be slightly raised. So then that means we can leave the section over here for potentially another bedroom. So looking at this, we can see that the roof is going to be slightly different because this is all raised. So what I'm thinking of doing is for this room only is to have upside down stairs to trim all the way round. So if I go down, it'll probably start where this section here and just join up across. It's going to look a bit silly, but I think it's going to be needed for this reason. Then that leads us to joining this over, so this can be a bedroom. We can maybe extend it out just a little bit further and then have a bathroom on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and wrap out a design for this. Hopefully it it will look okay, because we do have a few little gaps and bits and bobs that do need covering up. But once I've got a slightly better design, I will come back and show you, and then we'll move on to this roof ceiling design for our master bedroom. Okay, so I think I've got a slight idea of what to do with these rooms. So I've popped in a little landing area so you can go into one of the en-suites, and then added some stairs that will elevate this section. It does look a little bit funny at the moment, so it is bound to change due to the dimensions of this room. But I've pretty much done exactly the same all the way down here. So we have our stairs going up, a little corridor going through. Then you can go into this section here, and then you'll have to go back down some stairs in order to go to the bathroom. I think that's fine, but these two rooms are very much changeable. It just doesn't feel right having it like that, but it is what it is as of right now. But then I can now got a corridor going all the way down, connecting with this staircase too, and now this is now another room, which that will entirely be storage. So that is sort of the plan. What I can do now is build up these walls, but I'm probably going to leave just a massive hole in the wall for now, just so I can get in and out across this entire area. I'm still very much in the air with what these other additional rooms are, because we have this section, and I think it's probably just going to be like some sofas with books and, you know, just filler stuff, because I'm really out of my league when it comes to how many rooms are in this house now. I think it has taken it up to 14. So that means I've had to expand on trying to figure out who will be getting a room. Now, this won't be decided today. When I start like creating an interior, that's when I can start getting all this discussion. But I'll just list a few names as of right now that I've kind of got an idea for. So obviously starting with Bruce Wayne, Alfred, Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon's Batgirl, and Tim Drake, Damian Wayne. Those are definitely set in stone. And then I was thinking of opening it up to Cassandra Cain. Got Spoiler, which is Stephanie Brown, Batwoman, Huntress, Batwing. Azrael, it's a bit of a stretch, but it could work. And then Ace the Bat Hound, I think that might be very fitting, especially with the new Minecraft dog skins. That could set us up with a little mission to find one. But it would just be a bit strange that he would have his own room. So there are so many other family members, and I don't know whether to go to extended people such as Catwoman or anything like that, or just make a room theming it around them, of course. So I'm so open to suggestions, and I think the higher the room is, the least their importance is. I don't want to put anyone down, but I think the most very solid characters will need rooms here, and that'll be definitely downstairs. So that being said, let's move on over to this area over here. And I was more or less thinking having, yes, the ceiling elevated, but also add in some beams. I think it would be a kind of a cool idea, and I think I've got some wood on me in one of my shulker boxes, because now I've got to really bring them all around. So let's play around with a few ideas, and then I'll come back to you with a little bit more of a solid plan. There we go. So that's just the slightly elevated ceiling. And I think it looks really good with those beams going across. And maybe in time, I might even put them the other way around and have them actually come down and be a part of this staircase as well. But at the time being, I'm just going to leave this little section open so it'll be easier to get in and out. So I'll just pop another staircase there for later. And there we go. Now, of course, it's time to fill up all of these walls again, build it all back up. And it's a lot of repetitive processes today, but we are literally on the home stretch before doing interior design. But what you can probably assume is I've pushed back this level in by 2 due to the roof design. Now, I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to the ceiling for this roof section, mainly because it's going to be quite tricky. So I don't know whether to emphasize that it's a roof by adding in some more stairs going upside down or flattening it off at the top. I'm not entirely sure. So I am going to do a little bit of experimenting and some time as well. And I'm hoping that these rooms on either side do work out with merging into this entire section here. But of course, changes are definitely bound to happen. So once again, I'm going to be cracking on with that. And then I'm just going to show you the final result and then we can move on. Walls have been built up now. So I've tried my best to get it to look very similar to the rest of our walls. But of course, I've just done one trimming, 3 soil blocks high, and then another trimming on top. So you can see it's getting very cozy up here, very narrow corridors and whatnot. So of course some things have been kind of broken up as they've gone along. However, I think this is a not bad of an attempt. And I think a few things need to be changed, but right now I want to focus on the rest of this roof. So I'm thinking of doing dark oak stairs that go across, and basically I don't think it's going to be one exact type of way that I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be very dependent on each room. So rooms like this I have no plans for, I might even just take in even further so I have a lot more height going on. But I think this will be a next episode or in between episode kind of thing, because it's going to be a little bit complex going forwards. But I think today we've managed to get quite far to the point that we have created the entire exterior of this house is 100% complete. Let's just say 90%, just in case I miss a few things or like a few little detail parts. But yeah, most of it is done. And as I was building away, I think I saw some copper withering away. I say that, I can't find it now. Oh, here we go. It's starting to turn slowly. I don't know if there was actually a proper way to make them go faster, like oxidize faster, but I don't really know. But of course, I'm just going to keep it as it is. And I think it looks so stunning with the normal copper as well. It just looks, yeah, slightly out of place. But once that green comes in, it's going to be really similar to what we're very known for. And yeah, it's just so nice looking up and having a look at this. It looks so cool. But that being said, I'm going to end the video here, and hopefully next episode I am going to be focusing on either the rest of the attic parts or whatnot. And then it's kind of down to suggestions on whether or not we focus on doing some gardening or if we can start on our interior design, which is going to be really exciting, but a bit of a nightmare because that means I've got to get a lot of different cluttery bits so much more stuff because a lot of my bookcases are actually in my other Wayne Manor project, which was all from a stronghold. So I don't know if it's worth looking for another stronghold to loot and go on from there. And one more final thing before we go is I'm hoping that by the next episode I can update my game to the Copper Age update. So I've got a bit of a mod pack folder ready, but I'm just waiting for a few tiny little bits that are really important, such as replay mod and some other, shadery bits and bobs to go into 1.21.8, I believe it is now, which is crazy. And before I get killed, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye!